Welcome to the Arts to Hearts podcast, a show where we take a peek into the hearts and lives of our favorite artists. From running a creative business and practice to mindset, we talk about everything that goes behind into making a life and a career that you adore as an artist. Think of this as your happy hour with your favorite artist in your studio. Hear them share the messy and the wonderful side of creating and living a creative, heartfelt life within and outside our studios. As you tune in, be ready to be inspired and encouraged. I'm your host, Charuka Arora, an artist, designer, entrepreneur, and founder of Arts to Hearts project. Thank you so much for being here. Let's jump right in. Before we dig into this episode, I quickly wanted to share with you about our first ever interview open call. Yes, every month we will be releasing a special themed podcast issue from our selected artists from our podcast interviews call for artists. The current theme of this open call is Garden of Nostalgia. You can simply visit www.arts2heartsproject.com and find all the details on how to apply. The open call ends on April 6, 2021, so apply soon. Hello guys, welcome back to the Arts to Hearts podcast. Today we have a lovely guest with us. We have Haley Torres with us, and I met Haley via the Art Queens, which we both are really, I'm sure, grateful for. And it's been over a year that we've known each other. I really wanted to bring her on the podcast because I've always admired her work. She has this beautiful energy, and I feel like she has something, a very important story to share with all of us. I feel inspired, and I really wanted to bring her here so that I could learn more about her work. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Shruka.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well today. I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you here. So, Haley, can you just introduce yourself to the listeners?
Hi, everyone. My name is Haley, and I'm from the East Coast of Maryland. I'm an oil painter, and I paint mostly large-scale figurative paintings of women that are all about female empowerment, love, and identity. And I just love creating narratives within my pieces that have hidden narratives and hidden stories using symbols. I paint a lot about feelings, whether that's happiness, joy, pain, everything really in between. I usually tell all the stories, and I love this duality of life, seeing the good with the bad and really finding the balance between the two. That's a little bit about some of my work that I do.
Awesome. So, Haley, my favorite thing about getting people on this podcast is to know more about who they are as a person, who they are as an artist. So, we are going to dig deep more into who you are, and we would love to talk about where did you grow up? How was it for you while growing up?
I was born, so I lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right in the suburbs for my entire life before I moved here. And I grew up in middle class, family, very comfortable upbringing. I have a brother, and then I lived with my parents. And yeah, I grew up playing basketball, playing sports, and art was never something that was at the forefront. I would always just drift to it as I grew older. I always wanted to draw and paint, but it was never a serious thing for me. But I had a very comfortable upbringing, and I really loved growing up. And I lived kind of in a wooded, not a wooded area, or I wouldn't say rural. I always played outside, was a normal kid.
I think it's a dream for me to live in the woods, or have a studio in the woods.
Have a clubhouse in my backyard that we would always play in, and it was my favorite thing that we used to do.
How long did you stay in there?
How
long did you stay in Pittsburgh?
Till 2 years ago. I lived in Pittsburgh, so for 21 years of my life. I'm living in Ocean City, Maryland, so it's right on the East Coast, right by the beach. I can walk to the ocean from here. I always loved the ocean, and I wanted to live by it.
Haley has this beautiful figurative, I feel sometimes the ocean or it's the woman, I think they're so beautifully blended together that they just feel so unified in one, and it just feels so heartfelt. And the use of those strokes, how expressionist, and I feel you have so much of feeling already going in those strokes. My question is were you always inclined towards the ocean? Was it some particular reason, incident or something, or was...
Yeah, so I always would travel here every summer with my family. That's a detail I missed. list I left out. But I traveled here specifically with my family and always felt comfortable. And every time we would get to the beach, it would be like our 1 week vacation. I would be so excited. Like it was my favorite time of the entire year. And I would go out. All I would want to do was go out in the ocean. And I would get up when I was 10 years old and get up at like 7:30 in the morning, go out on the beach and stay out till like 5 p.m., like right when it would start to get dark. And I'd love to go in the water. And I just like always felt this draw towards the ocean. And I always just loved it from a very early age. Even my family will be like, yeah, I would always cry when we left. And it's just, I felt this like extreme connection to it. Interesting, like transition, like learning about myself. But yeah, I moved from my family and I knew a couple people here already because I had been traveling and I kind of had like a mutual friend that was here. So I didn't feel completely isolated, but it was a lot of growing pains that come with moving to a new place and really stepping into, even though I didn't mention this to you because I'm sure you don't know the exact distance, but it's like seven-ish hours from my home, from my actual home in Pittsburgh. So it's a little bit far. I'm not used to being that far, but yeah.
But was it because of you mentioned that ocean is something that you're really inspired by and also it embodies a lot of your work? But do you feel like that was something, a driving force for this move? Or was it something that actually happened after you moved? Because sometimes our work takes us somewhere. Sometimes when we go, our work comes with us.
When I first moved, I didn't paint right away. Like I wasn't actively painting. Like I'd always painted, but definitely not the scope or the rate that I'm like painting at now when I have a comfortable apartment. I was also living in like a very, very small, before I lived with a roommate first. So that was something I knew I wanted to like live by myself. That was my main thing. I'm like, I need to have space. I need to have my own separate space. That was kind of like always the driving force. Because even in college, I would have roommates, so I wouldn't paint as much. So I got my first apartment. It was a small studio, and I have an old video of it on YouTube if you want to watch it, but it is the smallest apartment. It's like one room, and I would just I would paint on my bed sometimes, but I would just set up my desk, paint wherever I could. So that's why I think whenever I have this room, I like literally will take up a huge chunk of my wall because I'm just so excited to have space to paint. But it definitely developed. I wasn't painting as soon as I came. I was actually serving in a restaurant right away whenever I moved because I needed to make money. And that really inspired a lot of my work that I have now, just being around people. And it kind of got me out of my shell a bit with talking to people because before that, I don't know, I wasn't doing it as much. So it definitely took time to develop my work and to kind of come into myself. I mean, I went out some nights, I wasn't focused completely on my craft yet and just trying to find myself like I still am. But
Okay, tell us about, did you study in an art school?
yeah, so for college, I actually played basketball like my entire life. I was always playing. And I went to school for basketball right away and studied graphic design. Like I thought that I had to do
Oh my
graphic
God.
design, and that was the way for me. I was like, but I'm glad that I learned it now because I know all the programs and like I really see influences from graphic design in my
Same
works. I'm
here.
like, there was a reason we went. There was a reason we went, but that was the thing in high school.
Yeah, I think it's also because I have the same story. I did fashion, I did graphic, I did branding. I worked a couple of years, but I feel like it's given me so many skill
Mhm.
sets that today like I can save a lot of resources. I know so much that I can do on my own in terms of skill set that I don't have to depend on someone
Yes,
else.
no, I agree with that. Like even today, I was doing some stuff on my website. And I was like, thank God I know how to do this because if I didn't, it really opens up a lot for you as an artist and marketing yourself, promoting yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think I've also seen this difference. Like, a lot of people, especially I would say this in India, here you'll see like the education system in art schools is still extremely traditional. There's very little or maybe no introduction to technology. And, people really don't have access to things like they don't know how to even use basic things. And I feel like it's such a big barrier in their own growth because they can't, it's a struggle for them to do even a little thing if they want to be on their own. And I feel like this is something that really needs to
Yeah,
change.
I agree with that. That really switches my mindset on it because sometimes I'll be really like mad, not mad at myself for pursuing it, but like, why didn't I choose painting or why didn't I go to more art school? But I really do think everything happens for a reason, and we're on our path for the right way.
Did you see yourself as an artist?
No. So my parents were not creative at all. They never like pushed it. They just didn't know what I was like up to. They would just see me in my room drawing away and be like, whatever, she can do whatever she wants. Just thinking it's like that I'm doodling or whatever. I never saw myself as an artist. And I think that that had a lot to do with it. I just never saw the representation. I never was seeing it online, and I didn't think I could do it and make a living. That was the belief that I had to overcome, is like that starving artist mentality. I had to really overcome
Yeah.
that. Did not see myself.
Yeah, same here. I think it still is out there. There's so many people who still need to see the light and change their perspective.
Did you see yourself as an artist? Like growing up, did you see yourself, or were you like, I'm designer, like I need to design?
So for me, I was born and brought up in India. Let me tell you, even today, being an artist is like, I'm staying at my parents. This is the first time they actually know who I am.
Wow.
Honestly, for the longest time, they did not. So I have been on my own for a few years now, and of course, I was making my own money. I was living on my own. So they really did not have a huge say in what I wanted to be. And for me, I never saw myself as an artist because again, like it wasn't even an option. Like it was something like it wasn't there. It was just like it's not there. I haven't seen anyone. It's not an option. It's nothing. Yeah, what I did always assume was I was extremely creative. I had a huge learning disability. So like I had a hard time learning a lot of things, but I would always do something by my hands. I was the creative child, always like I spent entire childhood in my room
Oh,
crafting glitters, all of that. But I never saw myself as an artist. Even when I did, I pursued fashion design, and believe me, I had to pursue, like I had to convince my father for it because in India at that point they were even smaller. There was very less visibility and they were extremely impractical. Like people considered them extremely impractical. So my father was like, you're just going to waste money, and like especially it's quite a patriarchal country. So, people would only have like, as a woman, you'll study something and you'll end up getting married. And
mm,
that's a lot what a lot
wow.
of things have changed now. But I never did. And for me, I also had this inhibition. Like I felt like if I call myself as an artist, it wasn't a compliment. I had that. I feel really weird to even say this,
Yeah.
but that was how it was. We had the stereotypical image that artists were these people who were, who did not want to work,
Lazy.
or
Yeah.
who were starving, or like,
Exactly with here. Like, yeah. Not exactly with here. I mean, just like with how people look at it, it's almost like when I say I'm an artist, I have to not defend it, but I have to like really, now I can say I'm an artist. But before it'd be like, oh, I'm an artist. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, let's not talk about it.
even today, the other day, my brother was like, I was in the studio and he just visited me and he was like, you have like this artist life and you're sitting in your studio listening to music. And I was like, I
Yeah.
just wanted to
Just
say
like
so
hold
much.
back.
I
Yeah.
can't. I just can't. But my parents see me going in the morning every day to the studio. They see that there's so much that I do behind the scenes, which is not only art. I have a lot on my plate. And I feel like I don't have to any longer defend,
Exactly.
explain anyone. It's just
Exactly.
who I want to be.
Yes.
And that's enough
Same
for
here.
me.
Love that.
We are so glad that we had that support. I don't think I was here at this point a few years ago. And I would say finding a community was something that was like a game changer for me, at least, because I did not find this community locally, to be honest. But I did find it, and I'm so thankful for the internet, Instagram,
Oh my
Art
gosh.
Queens, like all of these places. If
Yeah.
they didn't exist,
I
what
know,
would have
community's
happened?
so big. Like just having people that get you and understand and are in that position, it gives you that confidence in a sense. Like it gives you the foundation to grow upon. And that was huge for me too. The Art Queens was amazing.
Absolutely. Shout out to Art Queens
Shout out to
always.
Kat.
Shout out to Cat always.
Oh, I love her so much.
There's no conversation that we cannot, like, I was telling her the other day, I was like, we spoke about this and I had to mention you, and there's nothing that I
I
cannot do
know,
to
it's
not
so
mention
hard.
you. Would you like to share about your quest for identity, and would you like to introduce?
Yeah, so I came out as gay publicly, I guess you could say, not 2 years ago, last year. Seems like forever. I was already out to like my family and friends years before that, but I just felt like I needed to say it for my art and to really connect to my audience and to really understand where my work was coming from. Because if I didn't present it or put my story out there, I would have felt like, I don't know, that's how I was drawn towards coming out myself, because I saw other people's stories, and it just gives you that representation that makes you feel validated, makes your feelings feel validated. And for me, I just thought it was really important because I'm naturally like I'm very closed off, and I've been working through that like throughout my life to really open up because I had been so closed off for so many years, and it just eats you away. It just is not good. And yeah, so that's kind of an intro into it. But I posted a video on YouTube. The perfect way to do it. It's on my YouTube, and it's just like a little intro into my story. And
I will link the video in the show notes so that every one of us can watch that.
oh
And I'm going
gosh.
to watch that myself as well. I
Oh
don't know
no,
why
just
I
because
missed
I
it.
post about it all the time on my Instagram.
Okay, I was mentioning this in our conversation before we hit record, and I wanted to mention this again. What was really interesting to me when I read your bio was like me and Haley had literally a very similar line in our bios, and it just had two very different perspectives. Let me just read it out from Haley's bio statement, and it says the core of Haley's work is about creating a voice and representation in the fine arts for women to love whoever they wish to and accept their own authentic stories. My bio says exactly the same, apart from the thing that the core of my work is about creating a female voice and representing women's voice. And I felt like how we were talking about the same thing, but how our experiences have, shaped our work and our perceptions. Because for me, like growing up in India, I felt like I wouldn't say women have the best, I don't know how to even put it together. Like it's not the best thing to grow up here. Like especially it's getting better, but it's not the best. And it's not only here. I mean, of course, around the world we're still striving for so many things, but I saw like women being a big lack of identity on the baseline, like there's no voice for women, and I saw that and I was like, it made me so frustrated. And I saw my immediate family and everyone, and I was like, I don't want to be this. And that is how I had to channel all that I had within me into my work, and that's how it became that. And that is why I actually wanted to talk to you about, because I know for a fact, like I really believe this, who we are and how our life experiences have been, they shape our work, like what we're making. So my question is that while you were growing up, how was it for you as a woman, and then as a woman who's trying to also navigate and understand her own identity of what you're looking out for? Because stereotypically what society sets for us, that's not what you want, that's not what I wanted, but in a different way. And how was that journey for you?
That was it was a journey for sure. Like looking back at it, I didn't see representation at all, and I was not fully needing. I don't want to say fully needing it at the time, but I didn't even know myself know what I wanted, or I was just starting to see the world and really see relationships that I was in and trying to understand that while also trying to navigate school with sexuality. And it was never something that I saw in my school either. There weren't a lot of women who I knew that were gay. Like I didn't even know the term gay, straight. I knew that everybody was straight. That was kind of like what I knew of.
Yeah.
And then I started to see in the arts, different songs came out. Like Lauren Haregi, I just started drawing like nonstop. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's in Fifth Harmony. She was in Fifth Harmony, and she came out as bisexual. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to draw her and paint her. And that's the first time I really got questioned by my my best friend. She's like, why are you like drawing her all the time? Like, cause I'm inspired by her. Like I think she's awesome. And then I was like, oh wait, there's a reason. Like you connect to her story, and so you want to tell it. And I also thought like I had a huge crush on her, but yeah. So that was another thing, but I just never saw any representation, and I just kind of longed for that and would kind of escape into my work to try and find that. It wasn't until later when I started really telling the stories.
When was this? How old were you?
So that was when I started like questioning it at the end of high school and then going into college. It was like my sophomore year of college after I stopped telling myself that I was going to find a guy. Like I was thinking after high school, I'm going to go and I'm going to naturally, like all these guys are just going to show up and I'm going to want them and blah, blah, blah. But I just never had a crush on a guy. I really didn't. So I was like, okay, like now I have to really like face this, because this is something. And I forgot to mention, I'd have crushes on like girls, and that's all I would paint too. So it just came together for me. But I really did not accept it until my junior year of college. And that's the first time I came
So
out.
were
But
you using art as a tool?
art was just a healing mechanism, and I would go into it and paint. And that's why today I'm like, I need to paint from joy, because I've for so long painted from this place of pain and covering things up. And it was just a natural way to go about it. But it felt, another thing to mention with it is it did feel like a release when I
Yeah.
painted something that really had depth to it and meaning, and then I could get it out, and then it was like a breath of fresh air every time I did it. And whenever I did the Lauren drawings, they started to really gain traction on Instagram, and I was getting feedback then, but I wasn't fully out yet, and it felt amazing every time I would share something about it, because it was art that actually had a secret little meaning in there. So that was kind of the start of
I
doing it.
love that. I actually love that because I feel like we as artists have this like this power. Art is such a healing tool for us.
Yeah, that's like with the Closeted Artist, my podcast, that's like what it is. It's like the light that was in the closet was the art. Like making art was what was the light of my life and still is. And even when you were touching upon that, it also brought back for me being in that space and not connecting with like my friends around me. I would really isolate myself and, go in my room, or whenever I did have free time, if I wasn't playing basketball, I would draw or paint. And it was this release. And it, in a sense, it did isolate me, because I got so much comfort from that I couldn't get from people, because I couldn't be authentic and real with them and really share parts of my story. Like I always felt like I was kind of hiding things. But yeah, I love that metaphor and that being the light, because it really was.
Haley has like a podcast called Closeted Artist, and it is just beautiful. And the cover art is something I always, the moment she actually posted on, I was like,
Oh
I'm
my
drooling
gosh.
over this. I love it. I
Thank
still
you.
love it.
Yeah, I got an iPad Pro finally, and I was like, I need to sketch on it and do a new
It was
cover.
brilliant. It was so like well thought, well
Thank you.
done, branded as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. So, when we're talking about when we're trying to navigate and you realized where you wanted to head, how was it when friends, your family,
Mhm.
how was that for you? Because I feel that's another thing, when I started reflecting myself into my art, I started having this fear of being vulnerable because I wasn't open about my feelings to people. Only a few people knew what I was feeling. And why when I started making that art or the kind of topic when I moved into, I was remotely scared that people will figure out what I'm going through or what I'm feeling. And it took me a while to get like to seep into that comfort zone. But because for artists, like our art is also like hard, we try to hide it.
No,
We
we
can't.
can't.
And
It's hard, especially when we
yeah,
put, it's like our babies. Like that's how I think of it, is like they're like our little babies that we
yeah,
that we give to people in not a creepy way. But
yeah.
I think I definitely wasn't as comfortable at the beginning in college. Like I said, I didn't share as much. Like I didn't start sharing until after. And then once I came out, it progressively got more like easy, but it's still certain pieces today that I put out. I'm like, oh gosh, I hope so and so doesn't see this. Like I hope that they don't see this, or how will they react to it? Because there's always a hidden meaning to it, and I don't like to go like too deep into it. But it's like you said, like it's natural. The art is going to evoke different experiences that we've had, and it's just going to naturally have that attachment to us. But we do want to, like how I've framed it now in my head is, I'm not just sharing my story. I want to connect with others. Like I want to think about how can this be representation for somebody else and connect it with someone else, instead of solely focusing in my head on what happened to me. But that kind of was the segue. But it starts to get easier, but it's still certain
We choose
moments.
it or not, the moment we start using art as a tool to express ourselves, it's out in the world. And if we are honest about what we're doing, people will understand what you're trying to say somehow. Sometimes I think like how people who are not making art, how would they deal with
I
their
know.
emotions? Because for us, I feel like it's still like we have an
Yeah,
outlet. Like if I'm feeling something, the next thing I know is I want to do something
exactly.
about it. I want to make
Yeah,
something and let it
exactly.
out.
I thought about that yesterday too. I was like, if I didn't have art, like it'd be so, like I feel bad. Like how do you how do you let that, how do you become that vessel for that? Because like we were talking about with bottling things up, it just like either combusts or explodes or whatever. But it is so important for us as creative people to let that out in whatever way that we can, whether it's a song or music or poetry, art. It's just so important. But I definitely think about those other people. I'm like, but I think that everybody does have creativity. It's just finding it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. All of us are creative. It's just a matter of fact that how and when
Hmm.
we find it and how much are we willing to
Yeah.
embrace it.
And how much we're willing to sacrifice to understand it, I would say, too. Because like just with time and putting everything into your craft. People would always say you're too like you're thinking too much into things. Like if I would draw about it or you're too much, I've always heard you're too deep, like people saying that. I was just like, this is literally how I am. I don't know how else to not be deep or not to look into the depth of things because that literally I think that's what life's about is seeing underneath all the surface level stuff. And whenever I fully like embraced that, that was when I saw it come out in my work. But
How was it while you were growing up? You were having all these feelings about your own identity, but also as an artist, because I feel like as an artist, you're already feeling so much confused and different, and you're navigating your. We just think a little different than a lot of
mhm,
other people. And for me, I think I had that experience. I felt like I did not find people who had the same mindset that I did, even when I grew up. So, let alone that. How was that for you?
like when we were talking about community, it's like if I would have had some sense of community, even growing up and creating, like the only thing I can think of is like in my art classes and stuff, like having classmates that understood, but it was very solitary. Like it was mostly my work was just me. That was it. And I felt so closed off. In a way, it was, in a lot of ways, it was the light, but then again, there was so much darkness because I was just focusing solely on my own whatever I was going through, experiences or problems, and thinking I was the only one going through those things. Like I'm the only one that's going through this, and I'm the only one that thinks like this. But it's like get out of get out of your head. Like you're not the only person thinking this. And whenever that shifted, honestly, it was probably last year with the Art Queens. Like that's how it shifted. I was like, oh my gosh, we're all in this same
Yeah,
boat.
me
And
too.
that's literally when it started to shift for me because I met all different artists. But I would have really liked to have that growing up. It would have saved me some time, but I think it all happens for a reason.
I agree.
I
Thank God
know.
for that, but thank God for that we have had that. I feel like the cat would have not done that. What would things look like for so many
Yeah.
of us? Because like I'm living in a place I have nothing, like it's just me and my family and my studio, and I
Oh,
just today I feel like I'm constantly in touch with so many people, my friends, you constantly
yeah.
helping each other, building each other, and I don't feel alone anymore like that because I know if I'm in trouble, if I want to talk to someone, if I have a
Yeah. It's like so many people are right there on your phone. Like it's like, okay, who do I want to reach out to? And yeah, it's so easy,
exactly.
which it's crazy. Like I take it for granted.
What even feels more surreal is I wouldn't even have like enough people to call here locally, like in my own
Oh,
country, even I would say. And I was like, I can call so many people in like in the US or like in the UK or maybe in the Europe. It feels so strange,
yeah.
like to have these beautiful people and we connect on so much levels, but not find the same support like from your
Yeah.
immediate
No,
people.
I
And
can relate to that too, where I am. There's like a very small arts community here that I can go to, but it's just there's not as much. I don't know. There's just something different about reaching out like via Art Queens or there's not as much
yeah,
right around me for
yeah.
sure. So I feel that.
What kind of work were you making before you came out? What was the role of arts for you? Because I'm sure that there would be a big difference in your own work as well before and after
Yeah.
you came out. Let's talk about that.
Before before I came out, I like to call it like my blue period. There was a lot of sad stuff. Like, and I know you love Frida Kahlo, and I was so inspired by her pieces. And
Yeah.
I did a piece of me with description of it, but it was me with like a skeleton. I guess not so far off as some of the stuff I'm doing now, but it was like me as a skeleton, and then my heart was being eaten by like a crow, like a bird, just eating at my heart. And I just had like very visceral like painful art that I was doing and my parents never even questioned. I don't know if your parents do they like your work or are they interested in like
They never saw.
oh okay. That's like my dad now. He'll ask
I never showed them. They never
aw
saw.
yeah, like mine don't aren't interested at all. Like they're supportive, but they just never really looked into it because they're like, Haley's just doing whatever she does. So I would I did a lot of the ocean, but then I started getting into portraits. I would just do actresses that I really loved. Like I did tons of Charlize Theron. She's like my all-time favorite person to draw. I have like major celebrity crush, but I drew her. I drew just like a ton of actresses, and then it started getting into me doing the Lauren Jaregui ones, which had like the symbolism and the surrealism aspect to it. From there, developing into my narrative pieces. But yeah, before I came out, lots of blue color and less color, like very monochromatic. And then now they're more colorful.
How do you feel the difference in making before and after coming out, like, making from a place of fear or pain and making from the place of love?
Yeah, yeah. That's what it kind of connects back with whenever I was closeted, whenever I was holding all this stuff in, it was like, okay, what painful point do I want to pick from? It's so easy for me if I had to write 20 things that were painful in my life versus 20 things that were the most joyful. It's so easy for me to just go directly towards the pain because I'm so used to diving into it with my work. And it's not that I haven't experienced the joy, it's just so, it's like switching that in my brain and seeing, okay, like this is, the
Yeah.
different side of the same coin. When I create something from love, it just is different. Like I feel it in my body. It's like a physical thing. And then feeling it just come into being, like Temptation, honestly, that painting was from such a place of love, even though it's kind of, I see it as more dreamy than sad, but it does have like the cigarette and the wine symbolism in it. But it came from such like a very authentic, soft place, and it was so easy to translate. But then I think back to maybe a piece that I did before I came out that was from such a place of pain. It took me a while to get through. So creating from love, it's easier for me to paint and to connect than if I'm purely going from a very painful place. So it's like you relive
Yeah.
some of those emotions, some of them, all of them.
I think I personally also felt this difference quite recently because I felt like I had this pain within me and I was creating from a place of pain. But because of that, I felt like I wasn't myself fully. Like I had this section, like this little
Yes.
me within me who was hiding within that
It's
pain.
like your ego.
And the moment I started,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
something, that's something. There was something who was hiding, juxtapose concept, like, when we're making art, we're sharing ourselves, but creating from place of pain is also like, I'm still trying to hide
Yes.
something. And I always felt that I wasn't
Hmm.
myself fully. Like, still, I'm just getting there. I'm just getting there. But I overcame that, but I'm still not, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
100%. But I felt the difference. Like, I felt like now I just feel like there's nobody hiding in
Yes.
me anymore. And what you see is what I am now, and I will evolve in who I am
Yes.
tomorrow. But I'm not afraid. There's nobody
Exactly.
hiding within. It just felt so good. It
Yeah.
just
No,
felt
I
really
can.
good.
Oh my God, I love everything you just said because it's like whenever you create from pain, it's like you're reacting. You're so reactive. It's like you're an angsty like teenager, just like, oh, I'm just gonna paint about this now because I'm mad and I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm not gonna learn from it and heal, allow that healing. And I think that creating from love, it creates space in between the experience that you were going through and then actually creating it. So you can come at it from just a different angle. You're not in it. You're like, okay, I've see it, but I'm taking a deep breath. Like I can see into it, but not be so caught up in everything and reactive. I love that. And that's been the biggest shift.
Same here, I think. And I think past 2020 has been like the biggest year of healing for me, at least.
I agree. And when I say it, I feel guilty because I'm like, this has been like a great, it's like, I
Yeah,
mean,
me
it
too.
definitely
Me
has
too.
had a lot of like downs and ups and downs, but yeah, crazy amount of healing done. Just really seeing and coming to terms with why I'm doing it, why be an artist, why say what you want to say. It's like we're really faced with that this year in 2020.
When I reflect and I feel like there were so many things I was holding off that I even did not know about, or like there was so much pain that I did not even know about. And I was just, at that point, I did not feel like that. But I do feel now that I was in this wheel which was constantly going round and round. But I was forced to stop and I was forced to look at things, and I was forced to reflect. And today I look at my life back, think like, oh my God, what am I even doing? Like, why was I
Yeah.
even doing that? Why couldn't I
Hmm.
see
No,
that?
I feel that with.
And also, I think removing a lot of toxicity. I think that was one of my biggest
Yes,
learning for
that's the
2020.
biggest.
Definitely.
Your circle is everything, your inner circle, and that's something I constantly, it's like you got to constantly work on and really focus on, like, keeping your vibration high and looking at all different aspects of your life, like your relationships,
Yeah.
your health, like everything, your career. And for me, it was the rest, like working part time. It was like kind of my safety net. And COVID, it kind of forced me. It was like, here, like jump full time into being an artist, and I did, and that's where I am. But it was always like,
Mm.
like I'm gonna maybe try it, and then it really pushed me into it. But it's been just like it's just been me trusting myself.
So how has your experience
It's
been?
been, oh, it's been wild. It's been great. Like learning, I've just being by myself and really looking at what I want and seeing what I want, listening to myself and learning to trust myself. That's been the biggest thing with everything. But it's opened up like prints and doing other things that I wouldn't have thought of. I'm also starting like to do like mentoring and teaching video through sharing your story. So I'm like developing that, and then I'm doing my art. It's like doing the art and getting time to paint. Before it was like that is everything, which it is, but now I see different aspects and different faces and
Yeah.
yeah, different parts, more
Yeah.
entrepreneur than just artist.
Because I think we have had the same experiences in the past. We've spent a lot of similar time spent like doing things, and I feel like the good thing about the last year has also been like I no longer feel alone. Like as an artist, also it's not only the community, but I also realized that my work is no longer just about me. What I'm doing today is no
Yes.
longer just about me, but it's about so many of us. And I feel like now what I'm doing, starting this podcast or launching Arts to Hearts project and everything, I'm not doing it for myself anymore. I feel like just growing myself is just an outcome. But what I'm doing this for all of us, like all of us coming together into creating something that helps all of us. It no longer centers me. And I feel like before I was a little more self centered within
Hmm.
my own practice. But I just feel like I've grown so much as an artist within this year that it's just more
Yeah,
than who
it's
I
like you
am now.
create the space you needed instead of being so like caught up in your own space and your own headspace, particularly. Like that was the
Yeah.
shift for me too, was that you're not the only one. Like you're a part of the collective, and somebody else needs to hear this, or somebody else needs to see this painting. And to just trust that this is what you're supposed to do, and to allow that to happen and not try and like force things. And yeah, no, I love that you created this space, and I love seeing you grow too. Like I've known you now for almost, it hasn't even been a year, which is crazy. Like, it's wild.
Yeah, it'll be in here. I was like, I just spoke about this today, and I was like, it's going to be an year of knowing all of us. Like, and we've literally seen each other like starting platforms, launching our websites. Like, I know I can reach out. Like, I reached out to you when I reach
Aw.
out to you so many times, and I have a question, and I feel that comfort. Like, I know that feels like we have been working together. It's just that we are not in the
Yeah.
same geography or like physical space, but in the mental
Yes,
space, we're
for sure. I was
together.
just looking, I have this map, and it's crazy. It's like insane that we're that we're that far away from each other, but it seems like we've known each other for like multiple years, for like couple years. And it's,
Yeah. Can someone believe that this is our first on-call
yeah, that
conversation?
too.
And I feel like the moment we started
Yeah, it's
talking,
like catching up.
the moment we started talking, I did not feel like I'm glad that I think the reason for podcast was that I always knew that I have so many people that I always want to talk to, and I need like sometimes it's just difficult to have a separate time, and I'm not the best person when it comes to calling and everything, and I feel like podcast is such
Yeah,
a great way to catch up with my favorite people and let the world also join us in
exactly.
the
Yeah, it's like
process.
why not have these conversations and also like have other people that are interested in them listen to? Because that's how I found my communities too, was through podcasts.
Yeah, I feel like because while I was getting into the arts and not even arts, I feel like finding myself as a creative, if I had avenues like these at that point, only if I could hear some conversations, and be like, oh my God, I don't feel like this. Oh my God, there's something, there's a better
Yeah.
world out there. It would have been just so different,
Yeah.
so different. We need to create that for others now. At least if we did not get it then, there's so many people who are coming after us who would be able to have
Yeah. That's
access to
such
more
a
things.
beautiful way to look at it because that's exactly what the point is, too. It's like, I want to make it easier for somebody else just to find those conversations and find that safe space to talk about art because there isn't a part of it that's very like exclusive or like shut off. It seems like a little intimidating at first, but that was a big shift when, meeting other artists. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they don't not want to see my work. Like it's not this competitiveness. Like it's like, oh, let's welcome in the work. Let's look at it in an abundant way and not look at it
Yeah.
like so scarce and lacking, like in like this such a lack mindset. It's like we
Yeah.
actually want to help each other. We don't want to push each other down.
Honestly, I've also found people where I did not feel the
Hmm.
most safe, and I felt like I was putting myself into so much trauma that I just didn't have to, but I did. And I feel like I'm better off. I don't have to do that to myself, and I just wanted to have a light that showed me that there was
Yeah.
something better, and I'm so glad
Yeah.
that that
And
did
I love
happen.
that you brought that up too, because it is easy to, if you're giving off that energy, to attract those people into your life. And like we mirror everybody in our life, like it's a mirror. And for so
Yeah.
long, I was like, I blame
Yeah.
her, I blame him, or whatever, for whatever situation. But then it was like, that's what like spirituality is for me, is like, let's look at myself and where I'm coming from and really dive into that because I'm manifester of my life and that's like I'm attracting everything in. So let's really look at myself and see where I'm coming from and then in turn attract.
I have last question, and then I have the most like exciting segment.
I'm a little
Um,
nervous. Like, what are these questions going to be?
okay. I shouldn't have
It up.
given that away. One thing I just want to close this conversation with is that what do you feel like owning our truths, whatever it is, it's not the easiest thing. And especially when it's something that it's about your truth making others uncomfortable. And I think that's something that really holds us back.
Yes.
Like it's not only our identity, but our ambitions, who we want to be, what we want to do. It's not that we believe that we don't deserve it or it's not who us, but it's about the others and owning ourselves. I just wanted to, when you've crossed this owning your truth, you've crossed that time, you've seen those struggle, you've found yourself, what do you feel like would you like to say as an artist to other artists, A, and as anyone who's trying to find their own identity in terms of sexuality, but even more than that, just finding their
Yeah,
own
I would
voice?
definitely say just trust yourself, trust the feelings that you have. Just because you don't see it or you might not understand them, don't be afraid to feel them because if you don't feel them, they're just going to keep bubbling up. And I would also say don't betray yourself either. And how you're feeling, like don't try and cover things up in relationships and definitely be honest with yourself because I think it's our birthright to be who we are and to live and to be happy. Like at the end of the day, like everyone, we just want to experience joy and we want to have good, healthy relationships. And everyone deserves that, especially you. And definitely don't be afraid to share your voice, but don't share it if you're not ready. Like I think there's this major like push, like come out, like huge advocate for it. But one of my most popular podcast episodes is about staying in the closet and the positives. And it really comes down to the core of, do you accept yourself? And when you can come to that realization, come to it and then share it with others. But if you're not ready, don't feel rushed. Like you're on your own path. You're not too late. You're not too early. Do it when you're ready and don't try and think of what other people are going to think. Be solid in your foundation.
I love that. I love that. Such a beautiful message. And I feel like it's so universal, not only like it's about finding our own identities, but I know for a fact like the moment I said I am an artist, meaningly, not because I was forced, there was
Oh,
something
yeah.
different about it. I am an artist or I want to be an artist. Everything changed for me. And it was only that belief that I had that, oh, I want to be this. Oh, no, I am like today. Yeah, there was a day where I felt like this isn't true. Like there was this inner voice. Today I feel like it's second nature to me. Like I am an artist. There's no
Hmm.
other way I
Yeah.
can be.
And it's like fully embody that because that's what you are. And then when you're standing in that and you feel that, that's when it's like opportunities like that space isn't there. Like you're already saying, I'm an artist. I don't need to say, I want this or I have to have this to be an artist or this award. It's just like fully dive into your work, say you're an artist, and that's what it is, you know?
Love it. I am here with my most
Okay.
exciting part of the interview. I love this because I just feel like it lightens up everything. I get to know more of who you are and just have fun in the whole conversation. Okay, I will ask you a set of
Okay.
questions. You'll have to answer
Okay.
me quickly. Just anything that comes to your mind. There's no right, wrong, nothing. It's just a fun way to learn more about who you are.
Yes,
So, are you ready?
I think so. Yep.
Are you
I think
sure?
so.
Okay,
Okay.
so here we go. One thing you want to convey through your art.
Love.
What's one word that describes you the best?
Deep.
If you could have a studio anywhere in the world, where would you have it?
Greece.
Oh my God, where?
I don't know, Santorini. I just like have that in my head that I need to go there, and I just could like see it. But if it was in the U.S., I have a second answer. California.
Oh my God. I'm still imagining the moment you said Santorini because, like, the blue and the whites and the pink flowers, I can imagine how it would alter your color palette. Oh my God, you have to do that. Your biggest source of inspiration.
Relationships.
Who is your favorite women artist?
Frida Kahlo.
Love that. Love that. Me too. Who is your go to person when you're in trouble or you need advice?
My best friend.
Perfect. Do you want to give a shout out to her?
My bestie.
Shout out to Jenna. Okay, so you have a
Okay.
little more time to answer this one. What has been your favorite moment as an artist? Can you pinpoint one moment and you were like, I just feel so great to be an artist? Like, oh my God.
When I finished Temptation, that was the painting. I just felt so connected to the work. It just happened really quickly. It was the first idea that like I felt like so connected.
If you were to meet younger Haley today, what advice would you give her?
I would say it's okay to use your voice and it's okay to say what you feel because if you don't, you're just gonna go through your blue period, which you will go through. But I would tell her it's okay to use your voice in art and in life in general.
Love that. I would say her that I love your
Aw.
voice and we're waiting for you.
Aw. Thank you.
Shout out to an artist who are currently on your heart list.
So Amy Weber, she's actually going to be a guest on my podcast. Her painting, she does figures and she also does seascapes. Tanya, I don't know if you know who Tanya is. She's another contemporary artist, but she does.
I will add all these people on the show notes, definitely.
That's it for now.
Perfect. I will add all of these people and all of the links that you've mentioned in the show notes so everyone can find them there. I was actually meant to ask you one more question, but I really want to
Okay.
ask. That's why I'm going
Okay.
to ask you right now. I love this question, and I just feel like this is my favorite question I want to ask
Okay.
everyone who comes on the podcast. If there's nothing, no recognition, not showing work, nothing, no fluff attached in the world that we are living in, and if it was only about making art and it was only about you, what would be still one thing that will give you the motivation or the drive to get out of bed and
Wow.
do what you
And
do?
nobody sees it. Just me.
It's just you. It's just about you. I mean, sometimes, why I'm asking this is because sometimes we have a lot of more other intentions. We know, like, we need to make work for some reason. I just want to know if there was no reason, like, no external reason, why would you still do something that you're doing today?
I definitely would because at the core of what I do, it's like there's nothing that makes me feel more connected to being human and being a creative person than just the act of painting, like just to fill up time in the day. Like what would I do to actually be happy doing? Because like, yeah, showing it and getting feedback is great, but that's such a good question because it really makes you think of just the joy that painting is and being connected to your work. And I just don't know what else I would do. I think I would go sit on the beach. And even if I would go sit on the beach and sit there and be like, I just want to relax all day, I would have the urge to want to paint. Like I would just have the urge to want to create something. And I think that at the core, being a human, we just want to create things. So I would still paint. I would just have my own little cave or whatever, wherever I would be. But for the love of doing it, that's what I would do.
You'll be a cave woman.
I would be a cave woman. Yeah. No, I would definitely still be painting.
I love that idea. Oh my God, this was so
No,
much
I love
fun.
that question. Just starting your Instagram and not having anyone to share with, I would still be painting. Like I would still be creating. So
It's been so fun. I hope you
No, I
also
really
did.
did.
And I hope our listeners had a great time also. It was so nice to know you. We connected on a great level and I had such a great time. Thank you so much for being here. I have one more last question, which is where is your heart taking you right now? And do you have something that you're working on that we can support you? And where can our listeners find you?
So right now, my heart is taking me to this painting behind me. I've been painting about joy. I've also been painting a series inspired by Taylor Swift's album Evermore, which is basically just an extension of me telling stories and hearing them being represented in music. So I've been doing those paintings as well as this large scale one. And you can find me and my work on Instagram and TikTok. I'm always on there posting videos. I also have a website with my prints in my bio and more about me. And lastly, you can find me on my podcast, The Closeted Artist, which is basically that extension of my work that is creating a safe space to talk about art, sexuality, spirituality, really anything I feel like talking about that week. But I'm starting to interview some of my favorite artists and people that really inspire me and share their light with the world. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. And the handle is just my
Awesome.
name at Haley Torres.
Perfect. I'm going to link everything in the show notes so that everyone can find them. And go check out Haley's podcast. It's beautiful. Her voice is extremely soothing, and I'm sure you'll love it. Also, Haley's work is extremely gorgeous. Must have heard by now. So go give her a follow. She's extremely inspiring
Oh,
and
thank you.
beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to hearing from you again. It's just
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And it was so good talking to you. I feel like I've known you for a while, and this is our first time.
same here, same here. Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can find all the details and links mentioned in the show notes of this episode available on www.arts2heartsproject.com. And if you like this episode, please don't forget to tag us in your stories and leave us a review here on iTunes or any of your favorite platforms. It really helps us to keep the show going. Thank you so much. I'm sending you lots of love and I can't wait to be back here soon again. Bye.